Hi, everyone. So in today's demo, we'll be reviewing the Risk Management Framework, which has been developed using Joget. So the first thing we have here is the login page where we can pass our username and password, and we can log in using those credentials. Or if we, by chance, forget our password, we can click on Forget Password here, where we can pass our username, and it will trigger a recovery process where you'll receive an email to actually reset your password. So I'm just going to log in using my credentials. And we can see when we log into the application, we're presented to the dashboard as the landing page. So we can see with the dashboard, we have the ability to start a new assessment, as well as we have some high-level information. For example, the assessments that are in progress within the system, the assessments which are complete, the resolutions which are in progress, as well as the resolutions which have been closed. And just below that, we have a pie chart view, which has been filtered on the latest record within the system based on the assessment status, as well as the resolution status. And just below that, we'll have a list view of all of the assessments within the system. So we can see, for example, the IDs of the assessments, the frameworks, the companies, business sponsor, auditor, as well as an assessment status, whether it's currently in progress or complete. And finally, the year. And next to that, we have the view report button, which will allow us to generate a report for that specific assessment. And like all lists within the system, you have the ability to filter out information. For example, here we have the filter for assessment status, the company, the auditor, as well as if you want to filter out from the year, whether you want to filter out from something historically in the past and so forth. So the first thing we'll do is come and start a new assessment. So I can just navigate either from here from the dashboard or under the Manage Assessments menu under Start Assessment. So I'll just click on it from the dashboard and we can see we're presented with the first screen where we can start a new assessment. So for example, year and auditor is dynamically populated based on which year it is and the respective user filling out this assessment. In this case, because I'm logged in as Gurujot Singh, we can see that that is the respective auditor over here. And just below that, we can pass some additional information. For example, the framework, the company, the business owner, and the email. So I'm just going to select the dropdown. We have NIST in this example. I'll choose the company as Mokxa Technologies. We can select Gurujot as the business sponsor, as well as the email. And once we submit this form, we can see we're presented to a second form over here, where we can actually come ahead and select the associative control families as a part of this assessment. So we can see by default that the assessment status is set as in progress, and we can pass any additional comments. And just below that, we have the select control families section over here, where we can actually choose all of the control families that are applicable to this assessment. So as we click on them, for example, access control, we can see the section appears. If I click on audit and accountability, we'll also have a section relative to audit and accountability with all the associative subcontrols. So let's just do, in this case, access and control. And over here, relative to each control family, we can assign an owner and an email. So say in this case, the owner is going to be Gurujot, and for the email, we can choose Gurujot at Mokxa. And right below that, we can actually see all the subcontrols and drill down one step further and click on this pencil icon over here, and we can see this subcontrol in depth. And let's say, for example, we want the details. So we have the ownership, we can assign the full name as well as the email. And we can also choose the applicability, whether this subcontrol is applicable or not applicable. So I'll just say the full name over here for ownership, as well as the email. And finally, below that, we have the ability to add any evaluation status and comments. So in this case, let's say, for example, this subcontrol has been a fail, and we can say comments failed. And then finally, below that, we have the documents over here where we can actually upload any associative or supporting documents. So just by clicking on the plus icon over here, I can provide a title for the document, a description, as well as a file upload. And we have the ability to upload many documents here. So once we make any changes to the subcontrol, I can click on submit, and we can see now that for a C25 reference monitor, we can see that we've marked it as applicable, assigned an owner, as well as status as a fail. So we can go ahead and make any necessary changes to as many subcontrols that are applicable or not applicable. And once we're done, we can actually assign a control family status for this control family. So in this case, because we've marked one as fail, we'll actually come ahead and mark this control family status as a fail. And we'll say that this control family has been failed. And what we can do is we can actually notify the owner and trigger a resolution process in which the owner can make any necessary changes and come within the system and notify the auditor that any changes have been made. So I'm just going to click on notify owner over here. And we can see we've gotten a pop-up that says access control owner has been notified. I'll just click on OK over here and save as draft. So now we can come under the manage resolutions, and we can see under the inbox over here, this audit that we've just created, we have a resolution that has been triggered. So over here we have for the control family AC, as well as a date for resolution, a date resolved, which will get generated as it's gone through the resolution process, as well as a date for verification. So we can click over here, for example, review control failure, and we can actually review that assessment. And once we've made any changes, we can mark resolved, as well as pass any owner comments as well and submit it for the resolution by the auditor. So we can see over here, for example, for 396, we have an auditor review. If I just click on this over here, we can see the actual review over here where we can see, okay, the owner has resolved it. They've made some changes. You can review any necessary details, and you can come over and verify and complete, which will close off this resolution process. And once you've made any changes and marked it as resolved, you can come back to the manage assessments under update assessments, select that respective assessment, and come down below. You can make any necessary changes. For example, let's say now it's a pass, and you can come on and click on complete and close that assessment. And finally, under the manage assessments, you can also view the all assessments, which you can also see similarly in the dashboard, where you can view and manage all of the assessments within the system and see all of the associated details. So that being said, once we actually close off an assessment, we need a way to actually visualize and see all of that data. So under the reports menu, we have two different menus over here. We have the heat map, as well as we have the summary reports. So if I click on the heat map over here, and I select an audit in this case, let's choose 386, we can see that there are a number of different tiles over here, which we hover over. So we can see over here along the y-axis, we can see all of the respective control families that are assigned to this audit. And then on the x-axis, we can see the associative numbering. For example, we can see MA1, MP1, and so forth that is tied to that respective subcontrol for that control family. And it's really cool because you can see, for example, on a high level, which subcontrols have been passed, which is marked in green, as can be seen on the legend over here, which are conditional pass, which are in progress, as well as which are failed. So you can very rapidly see all of this information on a very high level quickly. And now let's say you wanted to actually drill down and see some more information in depth. You can actually come to the summary reports over here under the reports menu. And let's say for that same audit in this case, we want to view the report. So I click on the view report and we can see all the information, for example, the company. You can see the framework as well. You can see some high-level information, for example, the year, the auditor, the status, as well as the percentage of completion. And then you can drill down and see each of the control families, as well as the subcontrols, and see a view of, the owner, whether it's been a pass, fail, or partial, whether they attach any evidence, and then any additional comments as well. So that being said, let's come back over now to the documents menu over here. So the documents menu will give you an aggregated view of all of the documents within the system. So as opposed to actually going through a specific assessment and then a control family and then a subcontrol to find a specific document, as documents are submitted within the system, they'll all be available to you in the documents repository, where you can quickly view documents on the basis of the assessment ID and the associated subcontrol. And you can see all of the associated information here. And if I just click on edit over here, we can actually go ahead and we could download that file, for example, and then manage that file. Just below that, we have the manage master tables. So the intention behind the manage master tables was to make this framework or this tool kind of like a self-service. So in the sense that, say, for example, in our system right now, when we go ahead and we click on manage assessments, we have the ability to select a framework. Let's say, for example, we wanted to add another framework. We could actually come under the manage master tables. We can click on new, and we can add a new framework over here with a description, as well as pass any associated control families. And as we add the control families, we'll be able to see them here under the master tables for the control family, as well as view and assign subcontrols, which can be seen here under the third menu, where we can add any associated subcontrols. And we can see which parent ID it's been assigned to. So as we make changes to the master table, that data will be reflective within that assessment that we have. So that being said, that is the risk management framework application built on Joget. Thank you very much.